Growing up, I think I had a normal enough childhood. My mom was very hardworking. She did all that she could do. She was a single parent. I had my dad I had a relationship with him, but his physical presence I didn't have. He didn't live with us. And so I really just grew up with my mom and about four grandmothers. I had great grands and grandmothers, and they were influential in my life as well. Well, with all the love and the support that my family gave me as a child, they were unable to protect me from some of the bad things of society. And so at age 8, I can remember that it was during the summer actually, I was exposed to a friend of a family member, and he unfortunately took advantage of me as a child, and he molested me on several occasions. And what can I say? At that age, you don't understand these things. You don't know who to turn to. And so a lot of my growing up after that period was really about how to deal with this issue and who to talk to. It happened that one day I decided, I'm not having any more of this. I don't like it. I don't know what it's about. And I want to put an end to it. And I decided that I would tell somebody. Unfortunately for me, nobody saw, or maybe if they did see, they weren't moved to say anything to anybody. And so I really had to step up at a very young age to speak up for myself. Something that I don't think any child should have to do. But it happened to me, and when I decided that it was too much for me to take, I told my grandmother, and I remember the day like it was yesterday. She was washing, and I went by her and I said, Grandma, so-and-so is doing XYZ to me. And she stopped what she was doing and she looked at me and she's like, what did you say? And I repeated it. And she just starts screaming and crying, and I thought the whole neighborhood heard her, and she made a whole lot of scene, and, I thought that she was going to actually have a heart attack. And she got on the phone and she called my grandmother, my other grandmother, and she called my mother, and she called everybody, and she told them, and I was just cringing in the corner like, what have I done? Like, this is not worth the trouble. It seems like everybody's upset and I'm in trouble more than I'm released from this thing. Then when my other grandmother came home from work finally, she said, I don't believe you. I think you're just saying this to cause trouble. And I was really sad, and but my mother now, oh my goodness, I thought she was going to kill somebody. And I remember the night I heard her in her room and she was crying, and I said, oh my goodness, I made my mom cry, and she never cries. Never, ever, ever cries. And so I said, okay, this is not good. I did something wrong, and I felt really guilty. I believe they believed me. I think it's just something that nobody wants to believe could happen in their family. You hear a lot of these abuse cases and you think it's other people's children, but when it's your own children now, it's something difficult to deal with. And so I think the first reaction was probably disbelief, because it's like I have this very strong family and they're sensible people. Nobody in my family would do that. But eventually, they realized that, it really was just my grandmother that didn't believe me at first. But on her dying bed, actually, she was there in the hospital bed, and she was dying of cervical cancer. And so I went to visit her. I didn't know that would be the last time that I saw her, but I went to visit her, and I took her hand, and I said, how are you doing today? And she's like, I could see that she wanted to speak, but she had all these tubes in her mouth, and she's looking at me and she's holding my hand, and I knew in her eyes, I said, I know, I still love you, and you will always be a very good memory for me. I love my grandmother even after that incident, and she was very close to me, but I understood in a weird way why she had the reaction that she did. The journey out definitely has to be totally and 150% wrapped up in God. I think a lot of people were in my life, and they did help me. They did offer support, and I had older women who would speak with me and tell me, okay, especially in my church, because I remember speaking to some of them at my church, and I told them about it, and they were very helpful. But I think the real healing, that healing for all the issues, the internal issues that you're left with, really comes from a relationship with God. And it's for a very long time I used to feel, like there was something missing or something wrong. You felt I felt like if there was something wrong in me, and it was a secret that nobody knew, so I didn't want them to come too close or to get to know me on another level. I was very closed off from people because of that. Felt like I had a defect, if that's that's the best way I could put it. And so it's really something that I believe only God can heal, because you can get all the counseling, you can go through the therapy, you can talk till you're blue or whatever, but until God really makes what was wrong restored, it won't happen. You won't be a better person. Today I'm at a good place. I'm married. I was able to overcome all the craziness that I felt in terms of relationships. I trusted no man. That was my mindset. They're all gonna do you something. They're all gonna wrong you in some way or the other, and I got over that. And I met somebody that I was in love with, and I married them, and I have a good relationship. I have a daughter who, it makes me so paranoid as a mom that, I already tell her that you're not going to sleepovers, and she's like, 2, you're not going to any sleepovers. I don't want you out of my sight or my reach, because that need to protect and to make sure that there's absolutely no harm done to this child that I can avoid. I define myself as a children's activist. I believe that everything that I do and everything that I am really is about protecting children and ensuring that they have the best childhood and that they grow up to be good citizens.